Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC Men's Basketball Zoom session for Men's Basketball Media Day here from DNA Studios in Humble, Texas. Just a quick reminder, we will have all 12 of our coaches join us on this virtual media session. If you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. We ask you to limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we do have time allotment, we will work our way back for additional questions. With that being said, we'll begin momentarily. Approximately 10:10 a.m. Central Time. Thank you for your patience. We would like to make everyone aware of an adjustment to our schedule for our virtual segment of our interviews. Florida A&M head coach McCollum has swapped times for his interview availability with Coach Bozeman with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach McCollum will join us first, approximately 10:10 Central. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, thank you.
Once again, for all of our media participants on the call, we once again remind you, if you do have questions for our coaches on this virtual session, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach McCullum with Florida A&M. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
Well, thank you so much. I could not be more excited about the upcoming season. And I say that reflecting on our first year in the SWAC, we finished fourth. We went 11-7 in the SWAC. And of course, last year was an extremely disappointing year with only 5 wins. And so I like the group that we've added from a chemistry standpoint. And perhaps more importantly, size. And the first 2 years, I feel like one of the biggest difference in us and those teams above us was we lacked the physical aspect, the ability to play as big and physical in the paint as some of the other teams in the league. And so that was a priority in the recruiting process, and I feel confident that we were able to fill those needs.
Thank you so much for those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it for questions. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks.
Charles Hallman, Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. I believe that you're playing UCF on your schedule this year, and he's also like you to speak on the fact that it's 2 Black coaches coaching against each other, and they're not HBCUs. How important that is for fans to see the leadership, as well as players and anybody, to see the leadership of 2 Black coaches leading their teams.
Well, thank you so much for that question. And of course, anytime you see Black leaders, Black coaches in leadership positions, I still think that's important for a number of reasons. And as important as any to me is the message that it sends to the players and young coaches that there are opportunities out there in addition to playing, opportunities after your playing days are over. But I don't know Johnny Dawkins personally. I passed across any number of times over the years, way back when he was an assistant, when he's head coach at Stanford. I was an assistant coach at Oregon. But to just follow his progress, his career throughout from his playing days at Duke. And so I followed closely what he's done there at UCF. Just a few years ago, he lost a close game to Duke in the Sweet 16. So we know it's going to be very challenging, but yet it's a game that we certainly look forward to. And I certainly understand the historical nature of the game in terms of 2 Black coaches going up against each other in a non-conference game.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck this season.
Thank you so much.
Currently taking questions for Coach McCullum with Florida A&M. If you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature in Zoom to get your question in the queue for Coach. Floor is now open for questions. Coach, I know one question I had. Obviously, each coach has their own scheduling philosophies, things that they're trying to accomplish with their scheduling and non-conference play. What is your scheduling philosophy? What do you seek to accomplish? And what are some of those games on your schedule that we should be looking out for in non-conference?
Well, a big part of our non-conference schedule is sort of almost dictated to us, unfortunately, because of the number of guarantee games, money games that we have to play. And so after we play a number of games to meet those financial requirements or obligation, after that, we look to play games against, sometimes coaches we've had relationships with. We like staying in the state of Florida. We like staying in the South. But in addition to that, I've long felt it was beneficial to use scheduling to sort of broaden our players' horizon. So, for example, if we have taking our playing in LA, playing in Hawaii. We've taken our team to Jamaica. So through basketball, through scheduling and non-conference, you can, maybe have provide opportunities for players to go to a part of the country or even outside the country that they haven't experienced before. And so we'll take on various sites or historical sites or whatever that a particular city has to offer, just an opportunity to educate them away from the classroom. And so that's something that we keep in mind on an annual basis. If playing in this city or that city, how would it enlarge our players? How would it broaden their horizon in addition to the competitive side of it? And so I feel good about the approach that we take and the benefits from a non-conference schedule.
Coach, the facility there at Florida A&M, obviously the basketball arena, state of the art, not just good at the HBCU level, an outstanding facility overall in general, no matter what level you're at in college basketball. What has that facility and having that arena done for you and your program in regards to recruiting some of that top tier talent?
Well, of course, when you bring recruits and their parents in, it certainly is eye-catching. Not only the size of it, but just it's not a bad seat in the facility. It's just it has a little wow factor to it, which is really important. And of course, we have some other issues in terms of the times that we can use it for practice and those kind of things that sometimes tends to be a bit restrictive. But that said, it's certainly a big plus. And just when you see the facility, whether externally or internally, from the outside or inside, again, is eye-catching. And it's certainly a benefit from a recruiting standpoint.
Do we have any final questions for Coach McCullough with Florida A&M? Any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we will go to Texas Southern University and head coach Johnny Jones with the Tigers. We'll be back momentarily. His availability is scheduled to begin at approximately 10:22 Central. We'll be back momentarily. Thanks for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we've got time in our coach's 10-minute block, we will work our way back for additional questions. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Jones with Texas Southern. Coach, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
Well, good morning. Can't tell you how excited we are about a new season that is upon us. Certainly had exciting time last year. How we finished, we lost a great group of young men, 3 of them starters, 5 in total. And it was a nucleus of guys that was a part of 3 championships. So we've got a great core of guys back, 1 starter in terms of PJ Henry, our point guard. But we feel like we have a nucleus of guys that are around him that are eager and hungry to vie and trying to win another SWAC championship and hopefully representing our team at the end of the day in the NCAA tournament, representing our conference again in the NCAA tournament.
Appreciate those opening comments. We'll open up for questions. Once again, if you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature. Get your question in the queue. First question goes to Jason Bristol.
Morning, Johnny. I was wondering, PJ obviously will have to carry the load, being that he's the lone starter back. Which guys do you expect to help him with the scoring, since you lost so much of it with those guys who left?
Well, we're excited, especially through our recruiting. Jonathan Cisse, who was at I think it was in Cunning Word a year ago. He averaged 17 points a game there, and been fantastic. His off-season workouts with us has been really great. He and they've really fed well off of each other. He has a tremendous knack for scoring, and that's one of the things that I think you would be concerned about, his ability to score. He can certainly do that. Kenny Hunter, who coming to us from Louisiana Tech, we think that he'll certainly bring a different look to our program and to our team. Played extremely well there at Louisiana Tech, did an excellent job. I think we're going to expand his role here, which he's extremely capable of doing. One of the top players in the state of Louisiana coming out of high school. Certainly, we've got guys who are returning also from last year's team. Keelan Farouk, I thought, did an exceptional job when PJ was out for a period of time. He's continued to blossom and done an excellent job in continuing to improve his game as well. Zyterius Multi, thought he had some really bright moments at times for us last year, and Kobe Granger did an excellent job for us and playing last season. And one of the new guys that we're really happy and excited about, have done a really good job doing the offseason, is Shakir O'Neal. I think people that hadn't had an opportunity to see him, his off-season workouts, I think he's done a tremendous job in transitioning through the last 2 years, and we're looking forward to him to hopefully make an impact with us and for us as well. And one of the big guys there in the middle that we certainly got to be excited about, coming from University of Memphis, and we think that he's got Jamar Young's got a chance to do a great job of manning the post area for us, and he's a very capable scorer inside. So Grayson did transferred in from UT Arlington via was it Georgetown. Has the ability and the knack for scoring. So we've got a lot of guys that we feel that will be able to help and assist PJ and carry the load, but he is our quarterback. A lot of things will go through him, but we do have some guys on our team that we feel can certainly carry the load and help us.
All right, we'll take another question from Jason Bristol.
Does it make you feel better that a number of these guys you mentioned, Farouk, Colby Granger, they had some moments last year? Does that make you feel a little bit better having to replace all those guys, that you've got guys who showed flashes at times last year?
Jay, the downside of last year was the injuries. The upside of last year was the injuries for us, because you had so many guys that had an opportunity to play and get in. They were forced to, and they were thrown into the fire. And because we had guys down for so many games, these guys got a lot of valuable experience, and it showed. We certainly needed them for come conference tournament time. The depth showed on our team because those guys had to get in and play, and they played some really important roles at the end of last year for us. And when you talk about Farouk playing the 1 through the 5 throughout the year, Kobe Granger coming in and becoming one of our better defenders last year, and then had a knack. It's going to really help. So I would certainly say that because of the injuries last year, had it not been for those, I'm not sure if other guys would have had that experience. But we had from illness to injuries and all those things. We're excited about it. And so we know what we have and feel like it's a security blanket for us at the end of the day of those guys, the ability they have to score.
All right, next question goes to Jason Bristol.
Real quick, this is the kind of life you live now in the SWAC with guys coming and going. How long do you think or hope it will take for everyone to gel because you have so many new faces?
Well, that's the $1 million question right there. And the answer would be that's a process, and it's certainly the unknown. And if you can wave that magic wand out there and know exactly what will take place. But that's the part of coaching really that comes in. I think I will say this. I think this is a close-knit group. I really love this team. I couldn't be more excited about the nucleus of guys that we have. But at the end of the day, the experience that they have, and it's going to be all about the chemistry at the end of the day about this team that's going to determine the success of this team this year. So if we can continue having the type of success transitioning from the practice and things we're having into the season, we've got a lot of new guys. Unfortunately, some of them hadn't won championships, but the good part of it, they are hungry, they're excited, they're eager, and they're doing everything that we're asking of them. So we're hopeful that that will continue to transition into something special at the end of the day. So I'm not really worried. I'm really excited about this group. And I do feel in my heart of hearts that they will gel the way that they need to, and we will be playing well at the right time.
Thank you. I'll see you after baseball season.
Thank you. Hey, and go Astros.
Currently taking questions for Coach Jones with Texas Southern. Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you so much, and go Tigers.
Thank you. All right, we will have a few minutes before we'll be joined by Southern University head coach Johnson. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media attendees, if you do have questions for our coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we've got additional time availability for our coaches, we'll circle back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Johnson with Southern University. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping some of your expectations for your team in your first season at the helm of the Southern Jaguars basketball program.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I'm glad to be here. Took over this job April 1st and basically inherited 5 returners, 2 centers, and 3 forwards. And so what we did is we hit the recruiting trails pretty hard and brought in 2 Division I transfer guards and 4 junior college guards to kind of give us some guys with some experience. And since that time, I'm pleased with the group that we have put together. We do have some experience, and I want to put a group on the floor that is competitive. And so that's where it is for us right now.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. Congratulations on your position. I believe that you are playing Marquette on your non-conference schedule, and this is a game that features 2 Black coaches that's not in the HBCU against each other. How important that is for fans, for players, for anybody to be able to see 2 Black coaches leading their programs in a Division I game?
You know, it's critical. If you look at the numbers, you know how difficult it is to get opportunities to lead Division I programs, and and it gives us a chance to play a quality program that right now is boasting one of the top 5 backcourts in the country. And so the way I look at that is a tremendous opportunity for our program.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again, and good luck this season.
Thanks, Charles.
Currently taking questions for Coach Johnson with Southern University. Coach, obviously your first year in the league, I know you have a lot of familiarity with the programs in the conference. What do you, some of your thoughts just over the overall state of basketball on the men's side in the SWAC?
Over the last few years, I have, due to the increase in exposure of the SWAC, I've watched several games on television. And, growing up in South Louisiana, I have always been a fan of the SWAC. One of the things that really attracted me to Southern University is that, how well the league has grown, the quality of the basketball in this league, the quality of the coaching in this league was attractive to me. And, born and raised in South Louisiana, Southern University was my first experience with higher education. So things made sense. And I think this is a great time to be in the SWAC.
Appreciate those comments. Next question goes to JT Keith.
JT Keith with USA Today. Hey, Coach, can you tell us, those that are not familiar with you or your style of play, what kind of play will you be? Will you be an up and down team or a man-to-man team or what?
Thanks for your question, JT. What I'd like to do is I'd like to put a team on the floor that plays hard, that fights for inches, and that plays smart basketball and that shares the ball. I think those are the things that we talked about this summer. Those are the things that we talked about this fall. With what we need to do to be successful, we need to share the ball. And that may mean on some nights we're playing fast, and on some nights we may not, but we don't want to compromise quality basketball and play so fast that we're turning the ball over. So I guess kind of a combination of both. Thanks for your question.
And follow up, Coach, can you tell me some of your mentors or role models?
Well, it starts for me with my parents. I'm the son of a diesel mechanic, and my mom, still living today, is a retired school teacher. Those were my role models. And, growing up, there were some things that were demanded in our household. We had to take academics seriously. We had to learn how to work. And then on Sundays, we went to church. And so that's kind of the basis of who I am. But actually getting into this profession I was influenced by my college coaches. I played for Lon Kruger, and it's through the conversations I had with him as a freshman and sophomore that really intrigued me about getting in this profession. And I can remember the quote he gave me as a sophomore. He said, "How bad do you want to do it?" And I didn't know at that time. He said, "Well, if you love it enough to work for room and board, it's probably the right thing to do." And ironically, my very first job, that's all I got, room and board. So that's kind of where the wheels started turning for me and towards getting in this profession.
Coach, not to take up your time, but can you expound upon your experiences with Lon Kruger and any memorable takeaways that will stick with you forever?
There's so many, too many to explain, but I was one of the few high school recruits that he had in his very first head coaching job, Pan American University, which is now UTRGV. At that time, when he took that job, most of his players had come from the junior college ranks. And so I wasn't expected to play that much as a freshman. But 5 games into the year, I was in the starting lineup. And halfway through that season, with games on the line, he was calling my number to go score the ball. So, and again, I give a lot of credit to the guys I played with for helping me grow and develop. But really, it was his tutelage and his leadership that allowed me to become a really good college player, in my opinion.
Currently taking questions for Coach Johnson with Southern University. Any final questions for Coach? Coach Johnson, welcome to the SWAC.
Just one more. Hey, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Once again, Coach, sorry. Hey, what's a winning season look like to you this year? Is it wins, losses, a culture? Is it just playing hard? What's it look like?
I can't put a number to it right now, but a winning season for me is us winning in 3 areas. Number one, and we started this summer, our guys were winning in the classroom. Our summer grade point average was a combined 3.6. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure we win in the community and serve our community. And then the last and final thing is, we want to transform these young men that we're with on a daily basis, and we want to play meaningful games in March. And so that's kind of just a background of what winning looks like to us right now.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach Johnson, once again, welcome to the SWAC and good luck this season.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Next up, we will go to Prairie View A&M. Head coach Byron Smith. He will begin his availability at approximately 10:46. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you up. Man. Okay.
Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question for our head coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Smith with Prairie View A&M. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. Coach, with that being said, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping some of your expectations for your team going into this season.
Excited about the year 23-24. Basically a new team, but great group of young men, mixture of some high school, junior college kids, and obviously some portal kids. So really excited about what I've seen thus far. They play really hard. They seem to be playing together, connected. So obviously, like the rest of the coaches, expecting a really solid year for the Panthers.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Mike Prince.
Good morning, Coach. How are you today, sir?
Doing well, yourself?
Oh, I dare not complain. Look, you talk about it's a new team and you're rebuilding, trying to find your way. What has been your greatest challenge to overcome to return to glory as far as winning championships in the tournament?
Just been retention. Like you say, new team. Every year it's been the last couple of years, it's been obviously some, COVID challenges, still trying to, regroup and rebound from that. But just continue to turn over the roster in the last couple of years. It's been a bit challenging. But I feel a little bit different about this bunch, even though most of them are new. They seem to have a lot in common, and winning is paramount and important to them. And their work ethic has been great. So I think we all have the same challenge. It's just, in and out, like I say, turnover in your roster. But we're here. We're working hard. It's still the game of basketball. The baskets are 10 feet, 94 by 52 is the court. So I think we have a chance. But I think we all have challenges as in every program. But we embrace it and we move forward.
Yes, sir. Coach, if you had to lean on a player or two today, who would that be and why?
I probably would say Charles Smith, the 6'6", grad transfer, SMU for 2 years, Old Dominion 2 years. I would just say from the standpoint of he has a lot of experience. He's kind of been, at that level. He wants to be good. He understands that he has a lot of talent, and he's a multidimensional guy. He can shoot the three, he can drive the basketball. He's a very good athlete. just has a lot of experience, and he knows that there's a lot that we're expecting from him, and I think he's embraced it. And I think this will be the first opportunity for him to kind of have the ball in his hands and be put in a position where he can go out and lead a team.
Thank you very much, Coach.
My pleasure, Mike. Thank you.
Next question goes to Jason Bristol.
Hi, Byron. Good to see you. Good morning. I was wondering, you just mentioned experience and having the ball in his hands, but I think based on what I was looking, I think your leading returning scorer averaged 4 points a game last year. So where is all this scoring that you're missing going to come from?
Hopefully Charles Smith. That's why I mentioned him. We don't have a lot returning. But I think, we've always been a defensive team and an effort team and hard playing team. I think anyone you talk to, I think you'll get that description of the Prairie View Panthers. But I think it'll be a collective effort. Smith is the name I mentioned first because of what we have seen. But we've got 4 or 5 other guys who really shoot the basketball that have a knack for being able to put the ball in the basket. It's just getting these guys to play together, to be unselfish on offense, to be selfish on defense and rebound and unselfish on offense. So I think we've got a well-rounded team. Charles is just a guy that what we've seen, just scores it. Not going to say easily, but he's a 3-level scorer. But I think collectively, I think we've got a better offensive unit than we've had the past couple of years, where we have 3 or 4 or 5 guys that can really put the ball in the basket. So really excited about that. And, I think it could be a really solid year from the standpoint of being able to play on both ends of the floor.
Take another question from Jason Bristol.
I was wondering how much stock you put in the preseason poll, given that you are replacing essentially an entire team.
I hadn't even seen it. I'll let you know how I pay attention to that type of stuff. I was more focused last night. I had a 50 and over men's basketball league game last night that we lost in the playoffs. I'm pretty disappointed. But what do the polls say? I didn't even see what the predictions are.
I think they had you 6th.
Okay. Well, at least we're not last. So, hey, we'll take it.
Next question goes to Dr. Mike Prince.
All right, Coach. Got a follow-up question for you. Heard you put the emphasis, and I know firsthand that you put a lot of emphasis on defense. With the game being as individualized that it has become over time, how hard is that to sell the defense first and scoring second when it comes to recruiting players?
It's a challenge. Obviously, with our farm system, being a bit, difficult. Not to say our farm system being AAU, but as you know, it's a showcase event, and everything is about scoring. Who can score? Who can score? Who can score? I think it affects you when you are guys like myself who believe in defense first, and guys like Kelvin Sampson who are strong defensive coaches. It is difficult to sell that. It does affect you in recruiting, but I do think you have the ones that are willing. And if we talk about being really strong defensively, but giving those guys the freedom on offense kind of as a reward. So that's kind of how we sell it. This is what we're going to really coach you hard on, and we're going to trust you on the other end, the offensive end. So it is challenging, but the more you preach it, Mike, over and over and over again, I think, if you got the right group, they start to believe and they trust. I always say the believe in comes first, the buy-in comes second. You believe in your coaches, you believe in people, then what they're selling, it's a lot easier for them to accept it. So we've had some success with it. I think we'll have more success with this year's team, and that they're really getting after it defensively and practicing hard every day. But we do keep our word. We allow them to be individuals on offense as long as they're being unselfish. And so far, so good.
All right. Thanks again, Coach, and good luck for your season, sir.
Thank you, Mike. My pleasure. Yeah.
Currently taking questions for Coach Smith with Prairie View A&M University. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Byron.
Next, we go to Mississippi Valley State head coach George Ivory. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we've got additional time and our coaches' availability, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Ivory with Mississippi Valley State. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping some of your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
Okay, first I would like to say thank you all for having me on the show today. But first I have as everybody here, we plan on trying to compete for a SWAC championship. You know, that's our goal. And we got some expectations trying to lead the league in defense. That's the thing that we're trying to do, be more cut back on our turnovers. And, you know, so I think that that's some of our greatest expectation right now.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions. If you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Floor is now currently open for questions for Coach Ivory with Mississippi Valley State. Coach, one of the questions I had, obviously, facilities play a significant role in recruiting, significant role just for resources and what it means to your basketball program. Obviously, Mississippi Valley State has an amazing arena there where you play basketball, not just at the HBCU level, but just amazing facility across all of Division I collegiate athletics. Talk a little bit about what having that facility and having that arena does for your program in regards to recruiting.
Well, it does a lot for us. Like you said, we have a beautiful arena. And the thing that we do have is a lot of history with basketball. And I think that with the arena that we have now, we can start rebuilding our program back to where it used to be, a very competitive program within the SWAC. And that's the thing that we're pushing for. And we think that, the facilities makes a difference. You're talking about recruiting kids now. And so we're very pleased with our facilities and think it's one of the best in the conference.
Coach, obviously you're no stranger to winning SWAC championships as a student athlete and as a head coach. And obviously the success that you had during your run winning the championship at Arkansas Pine Bluff speaks for itself. What does it mean to you to obviously be able to tell your team and your players, hey, I've been there, this is the blueprint, just follow my lead and we can get there?
Well, it means a lot. When you won a championship as a coach, assistant coach, a player, head coach, it makes a difference when you're talking to your guys. And, by me doing it, starting at Valley, that makes a difference. Me sitting there feeling all the pain that these young men go through. They got someone they can come talk to about Valley, what's going on. They're having a bad day. I could just talk to them about a lot of things about championships and just being a student athlete, and that's the biggest thing I tell these kids. Get your degree. Basketball will take care of itself, but if you get that degree, it'll go a long ways with you.
Coach, one thing I did want to ask you, you've obviously had the opportunity to coach on some amazing staffs as an assistant coach and obviously as a player, but who are some of your mentors or people that have kind of shaped who Coach George Ivory is as a head coach?
I would say, starting off with my high school coach, Osmond Jordan, I thought he done a great job with us, molding us as young men. And then Going on to college, I had Coach Lafayette Stribling, did the same thing, molding us, and I had Andrew Pennington started me, gave me my first opportunity at Jackson State. So I've been around, like I said, W.C. Gordon, all the coaches was at Jack State during my graduate years, as I call it. You know, I learned a lot from those guys that worked in that building. So those guys really touched me a lot with coaching, and you know, it was a pleasure being around those guys.
Currently taking questions for Coach Ivory with Mississippi Valley State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, once again, for all of our media and attendance on our virtual session, if you do have a question for Coach, please utilize the raise hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Williams with Jackson State. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping some of your expectations for this upcoming season.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure being here with you guys. Well, a little bit about us. Let's just rewind from last year and get back to the point where we are today. We finished third in the league last year, and we had a lot of success, being picked previously preseason 7 to 8, I can't remember. So we had a really good season, and we have everybody coming back, all 5 starters returning. We added a couple key pieces with Jordan O'Neal from Alabama State, and we have some players that didn't get much time last year that's going to have a big impact for us off the bench. So we're excited about that. And we have a fire that's lit up under us because finishing third in the league and not getting anybody on the all-conference teams at all, not one player, finishing third in the league, that was very disappointing. My thing is, I joke about it, is if we're finishing third in the league and nobody gets on first, second, or any kind of team, well, I should have been coach of the year, so I must have did a hell of a job. So we all have our motivation, and that's a big motivation for us coming into this year. But the group that I have, man, we are resilient, and we live by our slogan, 2 dogs, 1 bone.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good morning, Coach. Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. How are you today?
How you doing?
I'm doing fine, very much so. A little cool in Minnesota, but that's be natural for a place like ours.
Yeah, I played there.
I have 2 questions to ask you. One, if you can speak on the HBCU challenge, how important that is for you to participate in that, and the visibility that provides. And also, I believe you are playing 4 schools who are coached by Black coaches. How important that is, and then not in HBCUs, that how important it is for your players to see you to coach against and fans to see the leadership of Black coaches leading their programs.
Well, for one, I'll answer your last question. I didn't really notice. I'm glad you put that on notice that I'm playing against 4 Black coaches, but I didn't notice that. That's something that I don't really care about, in a sense, because at the end of the day, coaches is coaches. I respect, a lot of coaches, and I have mentors that's, not Black coaches. But I have mentors that are Black coaches, Kevin Sampson, Johnny Jones, which I compete against in our league, but also Mark Godfrey, also Jim Harrod. But to answer your question, yes, since you brought that up, that's something that obviously I cherish, and it's great to see 2 Black coaches running a Division I program. Speaking on the challenge, that's great. Obviously Chris Paul is behind it. We was teammates in LA and are really good friends. So to be a part of that is very huge. It's going to be on a big stage. We're going to be in Las Vegas. We're going to be on ESPN. So we're excited about that opportunity to get the visibility of our university, for our players, and obviously just being able to be on national television.
Congratulations, Coach, on and good luck in your season.
Thank you.
Next question goes to JT.
Hey, Coach, it's JT from USA Today, Clarion Ledger. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, Coach. Hey, give me the philosophy and the thought about 2 dogs, 1 bone. I mean, you're very hungry and aggressive. Where does that come from? And can you expound upon that a little bit?
Well, it's simple. You put 2 dogs in the kennel and you put 1 bone in there, they're not going to share it.
Gotcha. And can you talk a little bit about your the big get you got the transfer from Ole Miss?
Absolutely. I mean, Deshaun Ruffin, obviously he had an injury that set him back. He's going to miss the whole season, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, we're excited about the team that we have. We have all 5 starters coming back from the previous year that finished third in the league. Also, we added a piece in Jordan O'Neal that was second in the league in blocks, maybe even first. I got to relook at it, but he's a rim protector, athletic, eye signed him when I was at Alabama State, so he's familiar with me, familiar with my offense, familiar with my coaching style. So he's going to be a big piece to what we have, and we have some key reserves that that's going to earn minutes. That's fighting for minutes. So we're very deep, and we're very poised to go win this league. We're that good. We are the best team in the SWAC.
And did I understand you say Ruffin's going to miss the season with injury?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. And Ken, one more. Can you expand upon your big man, Romeo, the 6'9" kid?
I mean, he's gotten so much better from last year. He's expanded his game. He's putting the ball on the floor more. He's being more active far vocally, shooting the ball at a high clip, even expanding his range out to the three-point line. And then he's just his IQ of the game is just so high. He's going to have a terrific year for us, and I'll be shocked if he's not player of the year.
Currently taking questions for Coach Williams with Jackson State. Next question goes to Brandon King.
Unmute myself. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
What's going on, Brandon?
Doing well. Coach, obviously you played the game at the highest level. Very confident player, and obviously that's carried over into your coaching. How would you say that the confidence that you have, that it's spilled over or carried over to your team into practices and games, and how does that help your ball club out?
I speak about it every day. With the quotes I send my players, the pre-practice or post-practice speeches, I'm constantly letting them know how great they are. I'm constantly letting them know they're the best team in this league. I'm constantly letting them know that they can go undefeated in conference play. It's a mindset. And when I talk about mindset, you got to have a perspective, right? You can have a mindset. You can wake up today, you know what? I felt like working out today because you had that mindset. The next day, you might have a mindset, well, you know what? I don't want to work out today. I don't feel like it. So guess what you're going to do? Not work out. So it's a difference between having a mindset and a perspective, right? If you got a perspective, you put some in perspective. You take a guy that don't eat, mom and dad not around, and they get an opportunity to better their life at a Division I level and be a professional athlete, going against a guy that had it, anything they needed in life coming up, and those two guys meet, who you think gonna win that battle? Because they have two totally different perspectives. Their mindset is different. So it's big on the perspective, and we have a perspective to be great. We want to be undefeated in our league. We want to be champions. We want to go to the NCAA tournament. So that's our mindset. We have our perspective. Now we got to set our mindset. We got to do it constantly every single day. We have to have a championship mindset. Everything we do is championship life. I'm the best dressed coach here because I want to be the best in everything I do. My players, they dressing like me because y'all want to be the best players. Y'all want to be the best dressed. You want to talk the most stuff, and you want to back it up. So that's our mindset.
Thank you, Coach, and wish you the best of luck this season.
I appreciate it.
We'll take another question from JT.
Hey, Coach. So last night I was watching, they had it on NBA preview or review of LeBron and you and the Cavaliers when you won a championship for Ohio. Shout out to you for that. But can you tell me, do you take that mindset when you guys were down 3-1 and you came back and won? Can you tell me what that meant to you personally and professionally? And do you carry that with you now as a coach?
Absolutely. I tell that story every single season to the new team, and guys that have been with me over the years going to hear it over and over because that's something that obviously never been done. That was the hardest thing. That was not easy. I don't know how I look to you guys as viewers, but that was not easy. You want to talk about the hardest thing we did. And when we won that, obviously just how we felt. But at the same time, that's impossible. And that lets you know right off the bat, like you can't never give up. You can't never think it's over with. And we never listen to, I think that's the biggest message I give my guys about that. We never listen to outside noise. All the commentators, all the sports writers, we never read anything. We never listened to anything because all they were saying was this series is over. Nobody has ever came back down 3-1 in the finals. Nobody. And we still sit there as the only team that has done that. And I don't know, hard as it was for us to do, I don't know if it's going to be duplicated. And I'm gonna put one more thing in perspective about it. That season that happened, Golden State haven't lost 2 games in a row all season. All season long, they didn't lose 2 games in a row. Not only did they lose 2 games in a row, they lost 3 games in a row to us.
Hey, Coach, last question. Can you tell me the injury on Deshaun Ruffin, what it is?
Well, it's a complete ACL tear. So it's something that, you know, he has to rehab. He has to get it back right. It's something we can't rush. So we ruled him out for the season.
And how many years will that give him left to play at Jackson State?
2 years.
2 years.
He was
Okay.
only a junior.
Thank you, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach Williams with Jackson State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. We will have an adjustment to our schedule. Grambling State will swap times with Arkansas Pine Bluff. So next we will be joined by Coach Bozeman, Arkansas Pine Bluff. We'll be back momentarily. All right, I do see that we have Coach with us. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we've got additional time in our coach's time availability, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Bozeman with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping some of your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
I'm really excited about this team. We have 9 guys returning from last year's roster. So anytime you can bring back 9 guys, man, that's very important. I think retention is key to winning. We got 9 guys back that understand the culture, understand, you know who I am as a person every day and how I want things done. So I'm excited about those 9 guys being back. And then, man, I think we added 4 really good pieces, that's going to take our program to the next level with Joe French, who was the preseason player of the year last year. And then Rashad Williams, he sat out last year. He was a guy that averaged 19 a game in Oakland 3 years ago. And then we added Kane McKiley. He's a 43% three-point shooter, Division II guy. And then also Londell Martin's a 6'4" guard, about 215 pounds. Started 50-plus games during his 2 years at Montana. He comes from a winning program. He shot 37% from the three. So, we added 4 new pieces, man, along with the guys coming back from last year's team. That I feel like could take our team to the next level. So I'm super excited about those guys. Super excited about Kyler Milton coming back, 6'4", explosive point guard, playmaker that can get to the rim at will, can defend, can rebound. He can pretty much do it all. So just super excited about these guys, man, and the team we have. I think we have, the most explosive backcourt, not just, in the SWAC, but I think we have one of the better backcourts in the country. Only time will tell. So I'm super excited about those guys. Man, and I can't wait for the season to get started. Last year we had 3 guys with Division I experience on our team, and you could tell, when we lost 9 games, we lost 9 games in a row. A lot of those games were by 1 or 2 possessions, really 1 possession, and we went on a winning streak for 5 games. So our team knows what winning looks like, and we know what losing looks like. And I think everybody in that locker room wants to win. Matter of fact, I know everybody wants to win, man. That's what we have to do, man. We're starving for success.
Thank you so much for those comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good morning, Coach. How are you today?
Man, super blessed, man. God is good, still breathing.
Always. Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. You'll be playing here at Minnesota as one of your non-conference games. You also will be coaching against one of the few Black coaches in the Big Ten. How important that is for our fans here to see a HBCU play, and also to see two Black coaches having their teams, leading their teams in Division I. Could you speak on that for our readers, please?
Man, I just think, man, anytime you got, Black coaches in this business, man, I think it's special. And now we got a chance to compete against each other. It's not a lot of us with these opportunities to become head coaches, especially at that Power 5 level. You know what I mean? So it's definitely exciting times that you got two Black coaches leading their programs and trying to lead their programs to the highest, the highest ceiling. And I'm super excited, man, to be a part of their game. And I wish him nothing but success. We played those guys last year, so I'm excited and ready to get back down there, man. We had a good time in Minnesota, and hopefully we can come out with the win this year.
A follow-up, if I may, what you hope that your team will be able to present when Gopher fans see you play here later on this season?
Man, I just think we play an exciting style of basketball, man. I think we got some guys, man, that can really fill it up. It's not a secret, especially when you talk about Kyler Milton being a guy, who can get to the painting wheel and he can score. He's the leading returning scorer in the conference. And then when you talk about a guy like Joe French, who's a scorer and a shooter, who shot 43% from the three, and then Rashad Williams is a guy that was top 5 in the country in three-pointers made. We got an explosive backcourt. And I think fans are going to be really excited to see our team, and we can't wait.
Thank you, Coach. I look forward to seeing you in person when you come here.
Appreciate it, man. Look forward to seeing you too.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Bozeman with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Appreciate you, man. Blessings to you guys.
Thank you.
All right, have a blessed day.
Next up, we will go to Grambling State. Coach Jackson with the Tigers join us here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Just want to make everyone aware that just recently logged in from the media side. We have had some adjustments to our schedule. We've adjusted the times for Coach Bozeman with Arkansas Pine Bluff. So we actually just concluded his availability because of a time swap with Florida A&M and then Grambling State. So I do see Tanner, if you need Coach, please send me an email and we can get you connected and connected with Coach Bozeman, keeping in mind that we did adjust that time slot. With that being said, once again, if you do have any questions for Coach Jackson, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. First and foremost, Coach Jackson, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping some of your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
First off, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you guys giving me some time. Just my early expectations. We're just trying to get better every day. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of offense, so we're looking at different guys to come in and score the ball. But our expectations on defense is still the same. We're going to compete at a high level, night in, night out, and try to make the best of the season.
Thank you so much for those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Hey, Mr. Charles, how you doing?
Not bad. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir.
Minnesota Spokesman Recorder is my paper I work right for. And so we focus so much on Black coaches because we're a Black newspaper. You are playing, I believe, Dayton this year, who has a Black coach. It's not it's a non-HBCU type experience. How important that is for two fans and players and the like to see two Black coaches leading a Division I program, and it's not an HBCU, two HBCUs going against each other.
I think it's extremely important. Coach Anthony Grant, it's funny, we have a little history together. When I was the head coach at Stillman, he was the head coach at Alabama. And he gave me opportunity to come over and play an exhibition game against him. And this actually be our second time playing Dayton since I've been here at the program. And Coach Grant is a phenomenal person. But the one thing I love about Coach Grant is that he's a guy that's out here pioneering for other Black coaches and making sure that, we're getting opportunities that's out there. And for people to see that, him coaching at the highest level of Division I basketball in that Atlantic 10, I think it's important. I think it's important because at the end of the day, it just shows to show that he's a great coach and he's climbed the ladder, and now it gives us opportunities to aspire to go up further.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Jackson with Grambling State. Coach, one of the questions that we've asked several of our coaches on the call is obviously facilities play such a significant role of recruiting. Grambling State obviously has a really top tier arena that you play your basketball games in. Talk to us a little bit about just that facility and what it does for you in the recruiting area.
Well, the Frederick Hobley Assembly Center is a major recruiting tool for us. When we go and kind of recruit these, I guess, transfer students or kids that's high level student athletes, one thing we try to sell is our facility. We try to sell the fact that they're going to play in the arena every day. They're going to be in a big time environment, which we always try to produce at Grambling. So that facility for us is big time. We have in my opinion, one of the best facilities in the league.
Coach, I was listening to your ESPN interview, and obviously Butch alluded to the fact that you're one of the elder spokesmen here in the coaching ranks in the conference, having been at Grambling State now going into your 7th season. What have you seen from the growth of this league from the time that you first started up to this point right now?
It's funny they're saying I'm one of the elder guys, but I'm still one of the younger guys. So that's the crazy part. But man, it's phenomenal coaches in this league. Like night in, night out, there's not a day off in preparation. I mean, when you have guys like, Coach Diaz and Mo Williams coming in, and then you got Johnny Jones. I mean, you just got so many incredible guys night in, night out that you have to prepare for. And I just think that the league has just been growing. Just with us even with this Pac-12 SWAC challenge last year, the way we competed just to show people that if we play our games at home, that we're good enough to beat anybody.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Coach Jackson, always good to see you. Hope all is well, man, as you get ready for the basketball season.
Yeah, hey, listen, it's around the corner. It's around the corner. I just looked at the practice schedule and I turned around and said, man, we scrimmaging it next Wednesday? What? So we're around the corner.
Oh no, look, I totally get it. Time definitely creeps up on you with that. I got 2 questions for you. First one about something from last year. Can you just talk about the overall experience that you had with the NBA HBCU Classic, especially going up against arch rival Southern in front of a packed house, along with a bunch of NBA stars in the mix too?
Listen, incredible experience. I remember talking to Coach, I can't think of his name, Coach at Morgan State. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. But I asked him, hey, Coach, what you think about this experience? Because we gave up our home game, and that's one of our biggest recruiting tools is that Southern game to bring people on campus. So we gave up our home game, and then, I talked to him. He's like, man, I would do it 10 times over. And to be totally honest, I would do it 10 times over. And it's not even the fact that, the game and the game environment, it's just the experience that our guys had, even from just being able to have the employment opportunities, just to be able to have Donovan Mitchell introduce a new Grambling shoe for us and have Adidas give us a special reception just along with it. It was just so many great things that happened throughout that weekend. And then, to get the win against Southern in dramatic fashion going into overtime was, you just can't beat that.
Okay, awesome. Coach Kevin, was it Brodus, I think is that Morgan? That's who you're talking about?
Yep, Coach Brodus. Yep, Coach Brodus. Yep.
Okay, good deal. And look, my final question is, I just want to ask you about athletic leadership. I've been knowing Dr. Travion Scott for many years, and of course, he came to Grambling and had a great plan in place. With you being one of the coaches that have been around him for a number of years now, can you kind of talk about the impact he's making for GSU on the campus up there in Lincoln Parish?
Listen, first off, I love Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott is a phenomenal brother, has a vision, has a plan. And one of the reasons I always say that we're having success is because of him. He gets it, what it takes to really see our coaches exceed and prevail. So Dr. Scott is a phenomenal brother, man. We have a great relationship. And I want to say we have a great personal relationship and a great business relationship. So, it's great when you have that dynamic, because even when you have certain things that he may be dealing with or I may be dealing with, we know we got those open lines of communications to talk to each other just about anything.
Sounds good, Coach Jackson. Wishing you guys the best of luck this year.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Currently taking questions for Coach Jackson with Grambling State. If you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue. Do we have any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time today and good luck this season.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. You guys have a blessed one.
Thank you. Next up, we will be going to, I believe it'll be Bethune-Cookman and head coach Reggie Theus. We will be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants on the call, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we do have additional time availability in our coaches' time slots, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Theus with Bethune-Cookman. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. If you would, Coach, please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping some of your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
Expectations. One of the biggest things for us right now is this time last year, we weren't practicing. We had hurricane issues. We had 2 back-to-back hurricanes that kept us out of the gym for almost over 3 weeks. So this has been a really great time for us as a team because it's a lot of bonding. There's a lot of small things that go into practice right now and all the teaching that goes on at this time of the year and really team building. So I'm really happy that we've had this time together. Tough situation for us. We lost 3 seniors, 4 starters last year. So I've got a young team, a little mixture of good players and some JUCO players. So I really don't know what we have just yet. I know that we're going to be more athletic and we're going to be bigger, we're going to be deeper, but sometimes some of these things are unproven. So we're just trying to figure all that out right now.
Thank you so much for those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Coach, good afternoon or good morning in this case. Charles Hallman, Minnesota Sports Recorder. How are you today?
I'm well. Happy to be here.
You will be playing Minnesota pretty much early in your schedule. If you could speak on how you feel your team will be able to present themselves in front of Gopher fans who don't see a lot of HBCU teams, but just how that will help you in terms of preparing for your league season as it comes up later.
Well, anytime you get a chance to go outside the league and play a high major or, a team that is in a much bigger conference, it's always a challenge. I think starting off, I always say that if you're gonna shock the world, the first game of the season is a good time to do it because no one's at their best at that time. And if, depending on how the ball bounces, who knows what can happen. Really, in games like that, you're just trying to give yourself a chance at the end, and you just let the ball fall where it's going to fall. I look at our depth, I look at our size, and I think that we're going to have enough size and depth to really deal with just about anything. Like I said earlier, the one thing is a little lack of experience, and that's something I'm going to have to find out early in the season, really where our guys are.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this season.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next question goes to Dr. Mike Prince.
Good morning, Coach. How are you today, sir?
I'm well. What about yourself?
Well, I dare not complain, man. We're closer to Friday, right? So
yeah.
I got a comment or a statement, then I got a question. It's not necessarily about your players, but more of the administrative side of things.
Mm-hmm.
The first comment is, I still hadn't got over the Kansas City Kings leaving and head to Sacramento when you guys played. Being raised from Missouri, but more seriously, the administrative piece. People forget that you're carrying 2 hats with the AD role and the coaching role. How challenging has that been for you to bring that balance necessary for you to have a successful basketball program as well as an athletic department? And how do you deal with that from the day-to-day basis?
Well, first, I want to tell you, I thank you for asking the question. I feel really blessed to be able to have both jobs. To have the opportunity to make a difference in the athletic department in general is just a dream for me. Trying to build the athletic department, trying to build all of athletics, and trying to take them into an understanding of what championship culture is really about. That's my goal. I have the energy, I have the drive. I feel blessed to have the opportunity, and it really helps to have a coach in the room when they're having these conversations that sort of affect athletics. A lot of times I'm the only voice in the room that really understands athletics. So I think from that perspective, it really does help all the coaches. And I always tell my coaches, listen, you guys got it great. I understand all the things you guys are going through, but I also understand what you say sometimes is not always true. So it's a catch-22, but it works out. I just feel really blessed to have the chance to do both jobs at this point in my life.
Okay, and if I could, with this follow-up, we always talk about the fact that you are a private institution.
Mm-hmm.
What are the pros and what are the cons of that when it comes to your fundraising approach and just overall operations?
Another great question. I think that in many ways, we don't take advantage of being a private institution as much as we should. I think that the hardest part is not having state money. We have to generate all the money that we receive ourselves. I mean, we had some COVID money, some different types of money that came in, but for the most part, we don't have that state money that's there all the time. And you can see that in our facilities. You can see that in the infrastructure of our school in general, that we're a private institution that we've sometime have not done a great job of the maintenance of our school. I think that those are the things that really make it difficult. And I took over a job that did not have any sponsorships. I took over a job that didn't have any great relationships with their donors. So I'm really been spending the last couple of years just trying to bring back those relationships and really start a new mindset about Bethune-Cookman and give back credibility. I have the opportunity to, after 100 years of football and probably another 30 years of this first phase of the football facility, I've facilitated an on-campus football field. And I'm also, you got 100 years of football, you don't have an on-campus football practice field, and you don't have a locker room. You don't have storage. You don't have a place to wash your clothes. So we're spending, roughly around $200,000 a year just busing back and forth and, doing laundry and all those things that come to play. So I have a tall task ahead of me. We're taking it step by step. The first phase of getting that football field is done. And now we're working on getting a locker room for the guys. So I feel very comfortable where we are. And I think that as I'm moving along, I'm trying to make sure that everyone understands what a championship culture is really all about.
Thank you very much, Coach, and you have a great season, sir.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach Diaz, hope all is well as you get ready for this upcoming basketball season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Well, Dr. Prince took the first of my questions about the administrative side, so I'll just continue on with my next one. So I remember the latter years of you being a player, but as far as the coaching side, I actually remember Coach Eddie Fuller from the hit TV show Hang Time on NBC. So I would love to know, is there anything that you take from being a coach on TV that you've implemented to being a college coach now 20 plus years later?
Well, I always say that, if you think about going back to Principal Belding in what was the show called?
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Principal Belding and I had the same kind of role. We're the message bearers. So in other words, we're still taking care of kids and we're mentoring kids and we're having the be the guy. Now, one thing I will tell you is I used to be pretty cool. I used to have a lot of swag, but listen, you can only get hit in the face with a pie so many times before you lose all that. So, I think that when you talk about Coach Fuller, and you talk about what I do as a coach now, I always tell people that I coach my team like I raise my own children. And I think that love that you have, that mentoring that you have, I've been every place they want to go. So, I have a lot of stories. I have a story for every scenario. And I've been involved, good and bad, in every scenario. So I'm able to really sit down and really give them a broader perspective of life. And again, it all evolves around being successful. This is all about teaching our kids how to be successful people.
Awesome. And also on that show, that was kind of many people's first glimpse of a young Anthony Anderson. Can you kind of just talk about, working with him, and are you surprised that the superstar he's now become in Hollywood?
Not at all. He was incredibly talented in those days. You could see it coming. I tell him all the time, no matter how big you get, you're still going to be my godson. You're still Teddy to me, man. So and what a great guy on top of it. The biggest thing about Anthony, when I think about him during those days, trying to be an actor, trying to work in that field, I should tell him, I said, listen, you have to let me know when you're going to ad lib, because if you're ad libbing and I gotta play off of that, I need to know what you're doing. He said, Reggie, just roll, just be who you are, just roll. If it's funny, laugh. If it's not funny, say something back. So it was a great relationship. I learned a lot when it came to dealing with people, dealing with the cameras, dealing with all the elements of teaching basketball for television. I then took that job, and I was the consultant for Like Mike when I was teaching Little Bow Wow how to play and the Like Mike movies that they did. So I got a chance to do that, and I was actually going into doing a couple of other things. I was slated to do Coach Carter and a couple other things like that, but I started actually really coaching. So you kind of work it all out, because ultimately it's still developing plays. You just don't have the script to make sure that we always win the game.
All right. Thanks, Coach, for taking us back down memory lane. Wish you guys the best this upcoming season.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Currently taking questions for Coach Theus with Bethune-Cookman. Once again, if you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Any final questions? We'll take a question from Charles Hallman.
Yes, Coach. You was here in Minnesota. You coached at the Timberwolves at that time. If you can share with us just a little memory about spending your time here in Minnesota and how much you're looking forward to coming back here as a coach and leading your team.
Now, the one thing I can appreciate about Minnesota, obviously it gets very cold. It gets cold early and the snow stays long. But I realized when I got there that they've been living in Minnesota a long time and they've done well. So you just got to kind of learn how to get involved and do as they do. But what I know about Minnesotans is that they're very, very, very solid people, very kind people, and they love their sports. I had a great time there. Wish we would have won more games, but I had a great time there, and I'm looking forward to going back. I have some friends there that are still there, so it'll be a nice reunion for me.
I look forward to talking with you when you come here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any additional questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this upcoming season.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care. Be blessed.
Thank you. Next up, we will go to Alcorn State and Coach Bussey. We will be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience.
Just following behind you right now. Excuse me. All right.
Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. So happy to be joined by Alcorn State head coach, Coach Bussey. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
Thank you for having me. Our expectations to come and just have success throughout the season. Continue to maintain success. Hopefully we're able to accomplish another regular season championship. And this year, hopefully we're able to get to the big things.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We will open it up for questions. Utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Currently taking questions for Coach Bussey with Alcorn State. Coach, obviously, last season, you shared the regular season title with Grambling State. What do you do to push your team to not only maintain that championship mindset, but I obviously listened to your comments during your ESPN portion of your availability, where you spoke of wanting to not only continue your success in regular season play, but also crack through and have success in the postseason SWAC tournament?
Just continue to, try to push these guys harder as I can in practice. Continue to push these guys, continue to get these guys working hard. And then, hopefully that continue our effort and our intensity that we does in practice will extend over into the SWAC tournament. But I think with the guys that we got returning, the guys that we brought in, with just the group of guys we have this year, I think we're much older guys. I think that we have more experience. And I think this might be the year for us to be a really special basketball team.
Next question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good afternoon or good morning, Coach. Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
I believe on your non-conference schedule you are playing Xavier, and that would be an opportunity. You're coaching against a team that's also being coached by a black man, and it's not an HBCU game. Can you speak on just how important it is to have a matchup between two teams that has coaches on the sideline look like each other, for fans, for players, for the like, in this, especially at Division I?
It's amazing, be on the court with African American. It's tough to come by. It's hard to get these jobs as far as being Division I college basketball coach. So when you get the opportunity, you want to take the best advantage of it. And then when you get the opportunity to coach against another African American male, it's huge, just for the community.
Thank you very much, Coach, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Bussey with Alcorn State. Coach, I would like to talk a little bit about where you guys were picked in the predicted order of finish. Obviously, you were picked third. Obviously, it's preseason rankings, but you'll clearly have a target on your back, being defending regular season co-champion. So just what are you impressed upon your student athletes, knowing that that target is going to be there? And obviously, everybody's going to give you all your best shot each and every time out.
Yeah, we're going to get everybody's best shot. And that's what we want. We want to be able to be at, where we're getting everyone's best shot. I think that with these past two seasons, us being regular season champions, I honestly believe that we have the best team right now. Now it's just all about us coming together, us doing what we're supposed to do, and us preparing every single day, like it's our last game. This league right now is a very tough league. It's a very tough league. Every single day, it's going to be competitive. Every game is going to be competitive. So no matter if you're playing against Texas Southern, or if it's Grambling, or if it's Valley, or if it's Prairie View, Jackson State, FAMU, we just know that every game is going to be brutal for us. And, I think that, everyone done a great job recruiting as well. I think with the coaching and these guys have really motivated these kids to step up to the plate. So can't say that any game that we've had is going to be easy. Every game for us is going to be tough.
Coach, who are some of your mentors that you would identify that have kind of helped shape who you are as a head coach today?
I have a lot of different mentors. One, I would say the name Dan Jackson, who I played for when I was in college at Xavier University of Louisiana. Now he's the head coach at Talladega College out there in Alabama. He's a guy who I talks to a lot, get a lot of insight on, shoot a lot of different things at him as far as how to manage things. And then James Stinson, who's at Livingstone College in the CIAA, I played for him as well too. So those two guys who I really rely on, lean on, help build me up, and also help me become the coach I am now.
Currently taking questions for Coach Bussey with Alcorn State. Next question goes to Dr. Mike Prince.
Good morning, Coach Bussey. How are you, sir?
Going well. How are you?
Real good, man. Look, congratulations on the run that you've been having at Alcorn. When you continually building a program and putting your signature on it, what do you see as that bridge gap or closer to move a little bit further for your success in your program, sir?
Just maintaining focus, maintaining success, continue to, just to buy in, getting these guys to continue just to buy in to what I'm trying to instill here, type of tradition I'm trying to lay the legacy for. But I think if we just continue to buy in, we stay humble, we understand that, we have had success in the regular season. However, what we have not been able to get over the hump. I think, like I said, with my returners and the new guys that we brought in, I expect for us to be very competitive again in the SWAC. But I think that if we get everybody just to buy into my culture, my philosophy, and how I want to run practice and game days and things like that, I think we'll be in great shape.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, some of the impact players that you're bringing in, who do you expect to be the leader amongst the new guys to help you reach that pinnacle spot?
Like I said, right now it changes every day. It changes every day as far as the new guys, as far as their leadership, characteristic skills. Of course, we have Jeremiah Gambriel transfer from Prairie View. Then we have Jalen Hawkins transferred from Moorhead, and he was also at Norfolk. Roderick Maston, grad transfer from Austin P. And we have a few junior college transfers. So it changes every day. Every day is somebody new who emerges. But the thing with us right now is maintaining consistency. Every day, the guy need to come in there and be the same. How you were Tuesday, you need to try to be better Wednesday, and same thing moving on for Thursday. So the biggest thing is right now just maintaining consistency and coming every day, single day to practice hard.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck to you this season, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Do we have any final questions for Coach Bussey with Alcorn State? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this upcoming season.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we will be joined by Coach Madlock with Alabama State. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants on our virtual portion of our coaches availability at Media Day, if you have questions, Please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we have additional time in our coaches' time allotment, we'll circle back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Matlock with Alabama State. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you would please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's expectations, recapping your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
Well, thank you guys for having me. First of all, have really excited about this team. Anytime you go into a year two of trying to rebuild the program and trying to get the confidence of your young men up and trying to get back to winning ways for Alabama State University, it's always an exciting time. You get to the month of October and, you can just start to feel that basketball season is right around the block. And so we're excited about this team and the potential.
Thank you so much for those comments. Once again, if you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Coach, one question I did have, obviously facilities play a significant amount when it comes to recruiting student athletes in today's climate. Alabama State, the Acadome, obviously one of the top tier facilities, not only in HBCUs, but just one of the better arenas in general. What does the impact of having a facility of that magnitude do for your basketball program?
Oh, it's big. Anytime that you got a recruit on campus, the first thing that you want to try to make sure that he gets a chance to see the Acadome. It's like you said, it's one of the better arenas in our league. I think it's a situation where you can come in and we have great fan base. We have our students are great. The band is great, of course. The Montgomery community has been really good for our program. So no, it's a plus.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Right. Good. Well, I guess it's afternoon. Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. So you mentioned that you're obviously in the process of rebuilding basketball back to where it was. In terms of where you are in that process, would you say you are right on schedule or a little bit ahead of schedule? Can you speak to where you are in terms of that process?
That's a great question. I think I was probably a little, naive to think, that I was going to be able to turn Alabama State around after 1 year like I did at South Carolina State. But the injury bug hit us hard last year. We had 4 surgeries last year. 3 of them were season-ending surgery. You lose your leading scorer, you lose another starting guard, you lose another potential starter. Then you had one guy that, even though he came back, he was never 100%. So that injury bug hit us hard last year. And so, it humbled us a lot, let us know that we got a lot of work to do. You can't control injuries. We know that. But so I think we're right on schedule. But again, I think that, anytime, you get a new job, you think, I can be the one, I can turn this thing quick. And it just didn't work as like we planned.
Well, thank you, Coach, and wish you the best of luck this season, sir.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem.
You see 8 minutes away.
Coach, non-conference, obviously there's different scheduling philosophies. Obviously, for men's basketball programs at our level, game guarantees are a significant part of the revenue that's generated for the overall athletics program. Outside of that aspect of it, what are some of the things that you try to get accomplished during the non-conference portion of your schedule?
Well, you said it. First of all, we're going to have to play these money games. That's just part of it. We all know that. It's no surprise. So you're going to try to find a way to get some games that you think you'd be competitive in. Another part is trying to get some home games. Last year, some of the schedule was already done before I took the job. So, but this year I tried to get more home games. Last year I only had 1 home game in the non-conference schedule. I ended up getting 4 this year. So I feel good about that. Have some games at home where you don't have to play almost all your non-conference games on the road. But it's a big part of it. You try to, do your scheduling. Of course, you got to play these money games like you said, but you got to try to find some games that you got a chance of winning. And that's what we've done this year with this schedule.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach, hope all is well. of course, Alabama State's biggest rival is Alabama A&M, and you guys have an alternating situation going back and forth playing down in Mobile. Can you talk about the experience from last year, and what are your thoughts about it moving forward?
Yeah, it's a good experience. Last year we played the game in Mobile, and we were fortunate enough to win that game. But it was a great crowd. It was fun. Both schools had numerous fan base there, so it was good. Had just people that's from Montgomery. You had people from Huntsville, and of course from Mobile, right there in town in Mobile. So it was good. I have no problem with it. You hate that you have to give up a home game for it. But that's part of it. It's nothing like being able to have people that may not be able to come down to Montgomery, may be able to see you in Mobile. So I have no problem with it. I think it's a good deal.
And just on the final note, what do you enjoy the most about being a head basketball coach with Alabama State, with the players, and how much do you love the fan base? The Hornet Nation, supporting you each and every night on the court.
Yeah, Montgomery is a great city. When I spent some time, I was assistant coach at Auburn, and so Montgomery is 45 minutes down the road. So I always spent a lot of time going through Montgomery and hanging out in Montgomery and flying out of Montgomery. So I always thought it was a hidden gem, and never knew that years later I would be the head coach at Alabama State. But the fan base has been great. The community has been behind us 100%. I think it's a hidden gem. We just got to get back to winning ways. Alabama State men's basketball has always been really, really good. We just got to get that winning tradition going again.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Madlock from Alabama State. We have any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this upcoming season.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Appreciate it, Coach. All right, our final coach will be Coach Hughley with Alabama A&M. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants on this Zoom session, if you do have a question for Coach Hughley, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we've got time and Coach's availability slot, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hughley with Alabama A&M. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping some of your expectations for your team this upcoming season.
Well, hoping to build on last year, a foundational year. Hopefully it'll serve as a springboard reference where we can build upon this year, which is technically really our first year, having our own guys, and maybe we can make the media wrong and win this thing. Hopefully, that's the goal.
Appreciate those opening comments. If you do have questions for our media participants, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in for Coach. One question that I did have, Coach, obviously facilities play such a significant role in the recruiting process. Just want to get your insight on what you feel like that new arena, that beautiful facility there in Huntsville does for your program and for recruiting in particular.
Well, most might think that has a substantial impact on influencing a young man's decision. But in this year of the portal and the NIL, it's about money. It's more about free agency. I think it does move the needle a tad in commandeering interest and people wanting to visit. And if things, they're not on a bartering board for NILs or people offering them money, then we might have a shot at them in this league. But it's a big hurdle to clear. But I'm glad it's there because it gives the student athlete more power over them in the future going forward. It just has to settle and discernment has to grow on how to manage the way this works. But it's so fluid, it keeps changing and moving. And I don't know where it's going to land, but right now we, pretty comfortable with managing it, coming from the old school of how things were done in the old days before the portal and COVID students. That arena would have been the difference of in almost any recruit coming or not. But now it's, it's just part of the cachet of or arsenal of things that you can put on display that might pique the interest of the kid at the right time.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach, how's everything going?
All right, Mo.
All right, so first question, was there anything in particular that you learned from year one that you want to improve upon from a coaching standpoint?
Just want to get better on the outset defensively and giving up fewer shots and being able to continue to grow offensively. It would all just be a lot of coach speak, but just the normal things of just trying to win, as many games as possible. The last several years, our league has probably beaten 9 to 10 Power 5 schools. So it's a very, very competitive league across the board. Any night, anyone can win, anyone can lose. And then at the end, those who play the best basketball, they'll rear their head. And then there's a surprise with those who historically won, like Texas Southern. They got all their guys back, and though they, despite starting out slow and struggling a little bit, they hit, they played basketball the right way at the right time and won it all. We were the converse of that. Started out pretty healthy and then got banged up down the end, lost 3 starters, and the best we could do was the Final Four. And that was good for us in year one. So a lot of expectations. There's no fear, only opportunity. And we look forward as a team and a program to taking the next step from building coaching to now I can actually coach these guys.
Okay, and look, recently I had a chance to talk with Dalen Smith and Amari Peak, two guys that will bring experience and defense and scoring to the hardwood this upcoming year. And the one thing they mentioned was that they hated that injuries kind of, took away their opportunities to play late in the season. What are you expecting from those guys, along with maybe some of the other veterans this year as you get ready for a new season?
Yeah, those two are emblematic of what we lost. That was about 21 points a game that we lost between them, not to mention the other non-tangible and intangible things that they bring to the table. To lose literal 21 points and then to get it back, more experience, more confident, more minutes. It's going to be really, really interesting to see, how the Lord lets this roll out.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Appreciate it.
Currently taking questions for Coach Hughley with Alabama A&M. Do we have any final questions for Coach? Final questions for Coach.
Not Charles, I'm not that interesting.
All right. Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this upcoming season.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you. This concludes our coaches' availability for our Zoom portion of our media day here at DNA Studios. We would like to thank all of our media participants. We will process the Zoom recording. We'll get it sent out to our distribution list. If for some reason you aren't on the distribution list, please email a.roberts@swac.org. We'll get the recording out to you as soon as it's processed momentarily. Thank you so much. Have a great day.